Part 3, the final one. Let's finish up all these buddies and give them their final ratings. Again, if you haven't seen part 1 or 2 or the patch notes, make sure you check out those as well. Queen Whacktober starts with Elder Tagawak, which is a tier 4 neutral 4/3. Whenever you play a minion of a type you don't control, trigger your hero power. So at first glance this seems pretty bad because you need to find minions that you don't control yet, and Whacktober wants all minion types on the board, so you need to have one type that you don't play on the board. Best case I think would be Elemental, since you have Elemental, which has a great synergy with this. Other than that, it's gonna be awkward. You find it late because it's a tier 4 card and it triggers your hero power, so it basically just gives +1/+1 onto 3 or 4 tribes then. But you have to cycle, buy and sell cards of, you know, a different tribe that you don't have. So spending 2 gold for like +3/+3 or +4/+4, that's just worse than a jug. It's better to just roll a single jug. This card is really bad. I don't see it ever making this hero good. Like, this hero is already bad. Now this card, you know, is not awful, but it doesn't really do enough for this hero. It is just very low stats and you need to invest too much gold into it. I don't know, I feel like Queen Whacktober deserves better. I'm gonna give this a 1. I don't think Queen Whacktober will still see any play. Now, Ragnaros got Lucifron. I've not seen this card before either. It's a tier 4 5/3 neutral. End of turn effects trigger twice. Dude, okay, so first of all, end of turn effects, this is your hero power as well. So your hero power, I think, triggers twice, which is already massive stats. It's +6/+6 passively that you gain, which is better than a lot of buddies that we've seen that gain you less stats and randomly, or you have to invest gold. Just look at Queen Whacktober. But that's not it. It also triggers Lightfang twice. It triggers Mitrex twice, Goldgrubber, whatever end of turn effects that you can think of. I think this is incredibly good with a lot of potential. Now, at this tier 4, you find it a little bit late. It is a 5/3 neutral that you have to keep on the board. But my god, if you can make this work, let's say you have 2 Lightfangs, the stats that you're gonna pump out is just massive. Maybe there's some other synergies that I'm not thinking of right now, or other cards that would also really well synergize with this. Please let me know down below. But I think this card will make Ragnaros a whole lot better and actually see some decent play. I'm gonna give it a 4. It's not game breaking or anything, but it's just good, and I think you'll see some high roll boards. Rakanishu got Lantern Tender, a tier 3 3/5, which is a neutral. At the end of your turn, give a random friendly minion stats equal to your 7th tier. So again, another card that is gonna passively gain you stats. Tier 3, so you get it rather early. And if you're on tier 4, let's say, is +4/+4 a turn for free. So that's pretty good. I would take that. Compared to Dora's buddy, which gives you +5/+5 randomly only if you have a golden card. It is just some sort of Lightfang effect again. Again, you can compare it to like AFK, which is a whole lot worse. It's just a better version of cards we've seen. But Rakanishu is a really bad hero. The hero power is still horrible, and this is random, so it could land on cards that you don't even want to be buffed. So it's something you just have on the board early. Gonna be strong, gonna give you some tempo, but you can't really keep this, or it's also not gonna win you the game. So I'll give it a 2. Like, I think it's better than some of the other tempo cards we've seen, but it's just, yeah, again, not enough. Reno Jackson got a tier 3 7/3. Neutral as well. I saw Tomb Diver. That will make your rightmost minion golden. Now, this is not permanent, of course, because that would be broken. You could golden your entire board. But it's only during combat, so this dies, and then whatever is on the right side is going to turn golden for the combat. At the end of combat, I think it just goes back to being a normal card. Otherwise, this would be absolutely insane. This is just like not amazing. It is tempo because it's a 7/3, so you can play it first. You're gonna go on your rightmost card. But the thing is, people said with Avenge it's great. You just play your Avenge card on the right side as it's gonna golden, but you have your hero power. I would prefer to hero power my Avenge card so I can stay on the board forever and I don't have to just play this, and then, you know, I generate the same amount of stuff. If I find a good card, I'm just gonna hero power it. There's no reason to use this Tomb Diver unless you want to try and triple into something still and then hero power that instead. I guess I could see that, but yeah, I don't think it's like a massive impact. I'm just gonna give it as 3. I think Reno, it'll still be somewhat of a high roll hero. You still like tripling to stuff early. Now you could make it golden with this and then golden something else later, but it's not like completely out of line or anything. Now Skeps Gutterbutter got Warden Telwater, a tier 4 4/6 neutral, which is at the start of your turn, add your next opponent's buddy to your hand. It's kind of like Taz's buddy. We haven't seen Taz yet, but you just get the buddy from your next opponent. Now, people were like, this is insane, this is broken, because there are a lot of good buddies. It is tier 4, you get it rather late, but there's also a lot of buddies that do nothing, keep in mind. There's also a lot of hero power specific buddies like Curator that like only trigger with your hero power or stuff like that. So you could get some bad stuff. Like let's say you have Maiev you face him IF, you can't really use that either. So this could give you bad stuff, but it could also give you really good buddies. One issue is that most buddies are just going to be neutral, so you'll get just a neutral to play your board for one turn. You're never going to play a board full of buddies. I think people are overestimating this. People are making this seem like it is just, dude, all the buddies, it's insane. But the fact that most buddies you get don't synergize with what you're doing, it's kind of iffy. You can even steal buddies already with your hero power, so it's not even that spectacular. I think it's overrated. I'm only gonna give it a 2. I think Skeps is good enough with this hero power. I think this card is overkill, and it's probably not gonna end up, you know, winning you the game. You could have some nice high roll games, getting like the perfect buddy from your next opponent, but those are, I think, rare cases. Shudderwalk gets a Muxlinger, a 2-star 5/3 neutral after you play a minion, add a random Battlecry minion to Bob's Tavern. Wait, after you play any minion? Okay, so I mean, you're just gonna farm so many Battlecries. If you have a Bran, you can just keep playing and playing Battlecries and cycling and getting triples. And it's tier 2, so you find it early. If you're still on tier 1, if you can get this card on tier 1, you can just get so many tokens. A very versatile card that can do a lot of stuff, generates you a lot of extra additional triples or value or stats. Shudderwalk can already do broken stuff with the hero power and get a billion triples, and for that you don't necessarily need the Muxlinger here, but this card can pop off. I'm gonna give it a 4 because I think Shudderwalk will still see a lot of play, and this card is definitely not gonna hurt. It definitely is gonna help provide some extra tools if you triple into the brand and just go absolutely apeshit. That'll be interesting to see how people are gonna use the Muxlinger. Like, there's a lot of different applications. Next up, Sylas Dark Moon God Birth. A tier 3/6 neutral. After you buy a minion with a Dark Moon ticket, gain 1 gold this turn only. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't expect like Sylas to get gold. That's not really in flavor of the hero power, but you are more incentivized now to buy tickets because you get the extra gold. Issue is that this might bait you into buying bet cards just to get a gold, but maybe that's not even too bad. And it's hard to know how good this is, like how relevant the 1 gold is gonna be, since you need to spend gold in order to gain that gold. While with Barrow, for example, you just gain so much gold for free without needing to do anything. Like, this is just a strictly worse version of other cards that are generating economy. But I don't think it's horrible, but I'm only gonna give it a 2. I think it is too low impact as well. And then Cindy, she got Towed Champion, a tier 3/5/7 neutral. At the end of your turn, add a random frozen minion from Bob's Tavern to your hand. So with your hero power, you can also just target 1 card, meaning if you just hero power anything in the shop, next turn, you get that in your hand, and you can even buy the one that you froze, so that way you have a pair instantly. That is really good, really flexible. If you freeze your entire shop, you just get a random card from that shop. But yeah, I think this will allow Cindy to get some early pairs or triples maybe, or just get some free cards. Again, this is a buddy that gives you a free card every turn. We've seen a lot of those, but this can basically just buy something from the shop for free. So anything you see, you can just get for free, and you can get a pair on it right away as well if you would like. And it's a 5/7, like you can slam this on the board and keep it for a little bit. I think it's a pretty decent buddy, nothing too crazy, but Cindy is still a bad hero. And again, we've seen some buddies that can outdo this one. So sadly, I'll just have to give it a 3. I don't think I can give it a 4 or a 5, but I don't think it's a horrible buddy at all to give to Cindergosa. Sir Finley, I was always wondering what they were gonna give, and he got Maxwell Mighty Steed, a tier 3/1/1 beast. Battlecry, add the buddy of your hero power to your hand. Instead of just giving you the buddy from the hero that you chose, you get this buddy that gives you that buddy from the hero that you chose, which is better for a couple of reasons. First of all, it works with Bran. You can get multiple of them. Second of all, it's an extra gold because you can play this, then you get the buddy, so you can sell that, generating an extra gold. And third, it is a 3-star, so if you have a buddy that's a tier 4 card, you get it earlier. But if you have a buddy with a tier 2, then you're gonna get it a little bit later. So I guess if you pick, like, let's say Genvala, you're gonna get your buddy a little bit later because this is a 3-star that gives you a 2-star. But also, actually, the golden version, if for somehow you keep this on your board, you can triple this, and then this gives you 2 buddies and triple that. So you also get an extra discover. You have to keep a 1/1 in your board, but yeah, you do get another golden discover into a higher tier. So it does have a lot of benefits. This might incentivize people to pick Finley over, you know, some mediocre heroes. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'm just gonna give it a 4 because on average this will be better than not having this buddy and just generating, you know, whatever buddy you got from hero power. Guy Captain Craig got Sharkbait, a tier 4/4/2 beast. Battlecry, refresh your hero power. So this confirmed as well that this doesn't reset your gold, so it doesn't go back to 0. So let's say you have 9 gold saved up, press your button, get your 9 gold, play this guy, get your 9 gold again. That's a lot of gold. You can compare this to Barrow. This is guaranteed gold, while with Barrow you still need to win your bets. It only stacks up to 10 though, so your hero power doesn't really cap over 10. I mean, it doesn't work anyway, you have 10 gold max. While Barrow's buddy is probably gonna generate you more over time. Also, it's tier 4, so if you plan on hero powering really early, you might not have your buddy yet. Although, I think even after you use your hero power, if you play Shark Bait later, it should still refresh your hero power. So I think even if you get like 5 gold from hero power, don't have your buddy yet, but you get it on like 6 or 7 gold, you still get that gold. I think it's okay, actually pretty good. You spike a lot later than other people in the lobby though, like it's gonna take a while for you since you have no extra tools in the early game, no money, stats, whatever, while others do, and your buddy is late. So you will really need to play smart and make good use of your spike turn, which isn't easy and isn't guaranteed at all. I think I'm giving this only a 3. I don't think I can ever justify this as being suddenly really good or really bad. I think this buddy is actually pretty strong. And then Sneed, ever since he was nerfed, he's horrible, but let's see what his buddy is. It's a tier 3, 5-4 mech piloted Whirlotron. Battlecry copy a friendly minion's death rattle. It's a mech, you can build on it, you can modulate it can be part of your composition, and it just copies a minion's Battlecry, which is most of the time just going to be tempo because it's early on that you play this, because it's tier 3, you don't want to hold on to it for too long. And it's death rattles, so if a minion has multiple death rattles because of your hero power, yeah, let's say you stacked up a hero power onto an egg or something, this will copy all of that. Issue is board space. Again, if it has multiple death rattles and this dies, you need board space for everything to summon. Cool thing is that you could copy like a non-mech. Let's say you have a trickster and you can buff this with modules and with buffs, and then you have a mech that gives a lot of HP to your board. Of course, Omega Buster, but I would have to hold this in hand for really long. Yeah, I think this has a lot of cool applications. I think it's a really fun card to play with. Sadly, this hero just sucks. Like, you're playing without hero power, but with a really good buddy. I'm gonna give the buddy photo. I think you can pull off some really cool and crazy stuff. I don't think it will see an insane amount of play until Sneeds finally get a buff. Thumbs in Ram, still one of the worst heroes in the game, got a monstrosity, a tier 3 0-12 without a tribe as well. After a friendly minion dies, gain its attack. Now this is only during combat. You can't really kill minions on your board in the shopping phase. Of course, it works with your hero power, so if stuff dies on your board, the attack is just gonna move over there. Let's say you have some taunts, all those taunts die, this thing will just have a lot of attack and only 12 HP. 12 is a lot, like it's still a really early tempo spike. This thing is just a massive body you have on the board. It doesn't scale, it doesn't do anything. Thompson still, you know, has no tools to work with. This in the late game will just be like a 50 attack with 12 HP card. And then of course the buffs from your hero power. I have to give this a 1. Like, it is one of the stronger tempo cards out there, but it does nothing for Thompson. I might be overlooking something, but I don't think so. Now a new hero which was very hyped, Savjz Stormpike, the hero that can choose how they shoot with their hero power. They got Kripparrian, a tier 3 5-3 beast. After your hero power fires, give adjacent minion stats equal to the damage dealt. So it's really good tempo. Like, you play this on the board, it's a beast, it's early on, and it is a better promo Drake because you don't need to fill your board with dragons, and even promo Drake can only give a maximum of like +7/+7 to adjacent cards. Well, this scales up every turn. Stats on a permanent though, it's no scaling, it is just a big body, or it just creates 2 big bodies, I should say. Unless with Tarragosas. With Tarragosas, this is actually good because then it's permanent, and then I think it also scales better than promo Drake onto Tarragosas. So you would really want to play Savjz in a dragon lobby. Other than that, you know, slap Deflectable or Hydra on the board, buff those, you're gonna be strong for a while, but you still need to find something to do. I think this is a pretty good buddy. I think I'll just give it a 3. I don't think, again, this is anything crazy or anything too weak. There's a lot of like alright buddies in part 3, it seems. And now Tess, the hero that everyone is scared of because they're just gonna yoink all of the buddies. You got Hunter of Old, a tier 4 6-4 neutral. At the start of your turn, add your last opponent's buddy to your hand. So again, it's kind of just like Skeps. Instead of your next opponent, it's your last. Like, it all doesn't really matter. And same deal as Skeps, like same power level, I think. You have random buddies, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. It's very late that you get this. Again, these are also cards that generate a single card a turn, but they generate buddies, which I don't know if they're arguably better or worse than just generating a card from your Tavern tier, for example. It really depends, right, on who your opponent is. And you have your hero power, like, you can just steal buddies anyway. I guess you gotta pair this way, like you just get the buddy from your opponent and then you hero power, take it again, and you have a pair on a buddy. if that is something that is worth it to you. I'm just giving it the same rating as Skeps because yeah, it is literally kind of the same buddy, and I think Tess is also in a pretty good spot right now and will still probably be in a decent spot after all of these changes. And the Curator, also a buddy that I got to reveal. They got Mishmash, a tier 2 3/3 with all tribes. Whenever your Amalgam gains stats, this gains him 2, so it doubles all the stats that you put onto Amalgam, which I think is pretty good because the tripled version of this like doubles those stats as well. So you just have your Amalgam, you just keep buffing it, play Menagerie, and this will simultaneously buff as well. Imagine this with like a Major Domo, buffs that, buffs the other Mishmash, and then you have a Master of Realities that just blows up. Or in like a dragon comp, you have like both of them scaling and going nuts. You can also module both of them, poison both of them. Of course, if you module and poison one of them, the other one isn't gonna get it, but I think this might make Curator playable. It is pretty good early stats and allows you to snowball in the mid game. We'll have to see how fast the meta is and how much you need triples. If it's an economy meta and people are power leveling and just tripling to crazy stuff, then this is gonna be bad because you just will never be able to scale up compared to the other people. But in case like mid-game tempo is good and you have time to transition into a Menagerie, it's gonna be pretty decent. Again, nothing crazy. I might be a little bit biased because I got to reveal this one, but I'm just gonna give it as free and hope that I get to play with Mishmash because he also has a fun name. The great Akazamzarak got Street Magician, which is a tier 3 5/3 neutral. Therefore, I'll put a random secret into the battlefield. Nah, like random secrets, they don't matter. Getting like one extra secret a turn, but you have to play a 5/3 on the board. It's never a permanent card. I don't think so, at least, because most secrets are like whatever. Splitting Image is good sometimes, sometimes not. You can get snakes, which I mean 3/1/1 snakes just sucks. Sometimes you get poison, which is arguably really good as well. Getting Divine Shield, I mean just play a selfless. I don't think it makes Akazamzarak a whole lot better. Like this is not really amazing tempo, has no value in any way, shape or form. Like everybody either generates a card that puts crazy stats on the board compared to a random secret. I'll have to give this a 1. Yeah, this is just so low in power level. The Lich King, God Arthas, which is a tier 2 4/3 beast. Reborn, your other reborn minions summon an extra copy after dying. So this is basically Khadgar. Because with Khadgar, you also summon an extra copy after Reborn dies. Except that this is a beast as well, so it can fit in a beast comp if you're playing with Goldrins or McKz. This seems very toxic with MarkMcKz. If you have Reborn MarkMcKz, you just summon multiple of them, or Reborn Spore even. It's just a tempo card. It works, I mean, with the tier 1 taunt. Whatever you hear power summons an extra time. Board space might be an issue. But yeah, I don't see anything like any crazy interactions right now. I just think it is good tempo and a good tech late game. So I think overall, since it's so early as well at tier 2, this is probably a 4-star. Like, it's probably just gonna be one of those buddies that has a little bit of all. They're not amazing tempo, not amazing late game, but because they have both, they're just good enough. I'm wondering if this stacks with Khadgar. I assume it do, like if you have Khadgars and Arthas, because then you could do some wild things. Now, the Red King got Pigeon Lord, a tier 2 3/4. No tribe, your refreshes cost 0, while Bob Starvin doesn't have any minions of your hero power. That's actually really cool. Now, this would be cool on turn 1, of course. If you don't have anything to hero power, you can just roll and find something. But you basically have a lot of free refreshes if you just keep on rolling and don't have your hero power. So essentially, this card is just sometimes gonna give you some free rolls. Because the biggest issue with Red King was in the early game, if you don't lend your hero power, you literally have nothing. In the mid game and late game, this hero power doesn't do anything. You don't care about +2/+2 stats sometimes. You also don't want to be baited into buying bad cards or cards you don't need just because they got that buff. Like, you need pairs still, you need a composition. It's tier 2, so you get it rather early, and I think you just get like some free rolls. You get some guaranteed early buffs and stats, so I guess that's good. It's gonna make Red King more consistent and like just do what he's intended to do, just get +2/+2 on some cards on your board. But that's it. That's it. We've seen the stats and the economy that other buddies give. I have to give this a 2. It's just not that good. Like, sometimes a buddy doesn't even give you any value at all if you just always have a card of your hero power in the shop. Then Ticketus got Ticket Collector, a tier 3/6/6 neutral, so a great stat line. Battlecry, discover a Darkmoon prize from the most recent turn. Darkmoon prizes aren't that good. Since you find this like a little bit early, you probably get a prize from the first turn or from the second time if you hold it for a little bit. But I mean, are prizes that impactful? No, right? If you get a second on the house, like another Discover. But compared to what some other buddies do, again, this is horrible. Like another On the House, okay, that's one Discover. A lot of buddies discover every single turn. If you hold it till the late game, you could do some cool stuff, but can you really afford to hold your buddy till the late game while everyone is already spiking? I'm giving this a 1. Like, Nicholena got done dirty. You just get like 1 extra Dark Moon prize as your buddy. Now, Gallywix, I was a little bit scared for his buddy because he already generates so much economy. So if he got something with economy, that would be spicy. But they got a Bilgewater Mogul, a tier 3, 6/3 neutral. Battlecry, give a minion +1/+1 for each gold spent this turn. So if you're at 10 gold and you just rolled that, or you just spend your gold, right? You get +10/+10. Compare this to, let's say, Patches there, buddy, which gives +1/+1 for each power you played. It's gonna be somewhat around the same level. If you play it early, you probably are not at 10 gold yet because it's a tier 3. Get like +7/+7, +8/+8. But if you hold onto it and you have like a big turn where you spend a lot of gold because you stacked it up and you have like 15, 16 gold, then there's a pretty good buffs. Again, it sticks with brands, so if you have a brand on the board, you can just dunk on a card and give it like an insane amount of stats, let's say +30, +30. That is actually really powerful. But that's it. Doesn't give you extra economy or stuff, just stats. Which I think is good. You know, Gallywix already has a lot of economy, has a lot of things that they can do that other heroes can't. So it being a good hero and giving them a lot of stats to play on the board as well, I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna give this a 4. Even though it's very comparable to some other cards that aren't amazing, just because it's Gallywix, I think it is really good. Because this is kind of what Gallywix needs to spike. Like if you have a big economy turn and you do nothing, you can die. Now you stabilize a lot easier. Vandar Stormpike, one of the new heroes that swaps health or chooses health from a high health unit, put it onto another as well. Got a tier 3, 4, 7 neutral, Avenge 2, give your minions +1 health permanently. The Stormpike Lieutenant. Apparently that's how I had to pronounce it, people told me. I think it's okay. We already talked about the other one with the plus attack, and again, same deal. Plus health in the early game is like pretty good. Health is just great because it allows you to value trade, but it's more tempo. Like attack is really a lot better in late game balls because you can have high attack divine shield cards kill a lot of good stuff, while high health low attack cards don't do anything late game but are stronger early game, I think. So you just slap this on the board, get some health onto your cards level, and then do something else. Doesn't seem incredibly impactful. You have to play an Avenge setup. If you don't have good Avenge cards, you might not even trigger this, or trigger this like once or twice, and then stuff on your board is already dead, so you don't even buff a whole lot. I'm gonna give this a 2. I don't see this, you know, snowballing your board that much in the mid game. Now Vol'jin got Master Godrin, which is a tier 3, 8, 5 neutral. At the end of your turn, adjacent minions copy this minion's attack. I don't know why it's only attack, but now I guess if you have a Chroma Wing or anything with high attack, swap it onto this, and this will give the attack to 2 cards. But you have to keep this on the board. Like you have to keep this high attack Master Godrin on the board just to get only the attack on adjacent cards. But you want stats, you want also like health. I don't think it's that good. Like you don't care. I would rather put the stats straight onto the good minions instead of onto this, and then you only get that attack onto adjacent cards. I do see the potential again with the flexibles and cleaves and stuff like that, but I don't see it being massive. I'm gonna give this a 2. I think you will see a lot of Vol'jins not even have this on their board. In the late game especially. In the mid game, sure, right? You're just strong for a little bit, but it is not gonna be comp defining. Cyrella got the Baby Alec, a tier 2 2/2. In style of the hero power. Whenever you play a minion with attack equal to its health, gain +2/+2, it's a beast. So I was wondering how many cards you have that have attack equal to health, and someone in chat actually counted. Now I don't know 100% sure if this is correct, but this is what they told me, that 50 cards out of almost 150 have attack equal to health. So 1/3 of all the cards would buff Baby Alec +2/+2. On top of that, you have your hero power, so whenever you hero power something and play it, you also get +2/+2. You get this super early, and most buffs are equal. Like look at Mug and Jug, they're a 2/2 and a 3/3. So I think just having this on the board, it will really rapidly scale up and just be like a pretty big beast. So I think this is actually insane good tempo for Cyrella. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 4. I think it's actually pretty impactful compared to some other cards that we saw scaling up whenever you buy or sell a card, or which is a bold assumption since the requirement seems higher, but I think the requirement is still like pretty easy and the payoff is pretty big. Like it's a tier 2 card as well. Yasharaj got Baby Yasharaj, which is a tier 3 6/6 neutral. Whenever you summon a minion of your current type tier, give it +4/+4. So whenever you hero power, the card summoned gets +4/+4. If you're in tier 4 and you buy 4 drops, they also get those stats. If you're in tier 5, you get +4/+4 onto your 5 drops. And if you are on tier 3 and you have a red pack, the red pack summons I think also give you +4/+4 onto each body. So at first I was thinking you just play some sort of mom bear comp, but it doesn't work. Like your tokens that you summon are not gonna get the buff on higher tiers. Actually, the red pack tokens might be 1-star units, right? So they might not even get this buff. Like, it's just tempo. Like, if you level and buy cards of your tier, you're just gonna get some extra stats. It's like, again, a mama bear that just is gonna help you stabilize. It's not something you build a comp around, it's no scaling, it is something to just help you stabilize, because Yashiraj likes power leveling. And the big issue is that if you power level with Yashiraj, you often die. This will make sure you live. Again, it's a 6/6 body. Pretty big. Keep it on the board, just hero power while leveling, get a bunch of good stats, and then fill your board on a higher tier, sell this, and try and pivot into something. At first I thought this was really horrible, but the more I think about it, the more it just makes Yashiraj able to level and just never stop leveling. I think I was underrating this card, and I think a lot of people as well. I'm gonna give this a 4. I wanted to give this a 2 at first, but I actually look forward to just leveling, hero powering every turn with this card, going to 6, getting some 6 drops, and just completely steamrolling a lobby. Whether or not that's gonna be entirely possible, also with tier 5 level being more expensive, we'll have to wait and see, but that is my prediction. So Yoggaron got a very special buddy, the Acolyte of Yoggaron, which is a tier 3 Murloc 5/4 Battlecry, spin the wheel of Yoggaron. What the wheel is, I have a graphic here. I found this one from the stream, the reveal stream. And the wheel has a whole bunch of different outcomes. So most things are 90% to happen. First one being the hero power triggers an extra time for the rest of the game. So every time you hero power, you get 2 things out of the shop instead of 1. Great tempo and economy. I mean, that's just pretty good. The other one is 3 random Darkman prizes that you get. So Tickets is crying in the corner with his buddy. You get 3 prizes. Another one is your minions get +3/+3 all on the board, which is a lot of stats, and they shuffle their stats. So you can be screwed over. Your stats do move around, so everything gets the buff first, and then randomly the stats are redistributed. Another one is consume Bob's Tavern and refresh, so you eat all the stats from the tavern, which is probably more than +3/+3 sometimes, and get a free roll. Steal Bob's Tavern and refresh, which means you just get all the cards in the tavern and you roll, so that is just like 4 or 5 free cards. That's insane. And then for 5% you also have Rod of Roasting, of course, which is casting Pyro buff, which is a +4/+4 buff randomly on all the units until it hits your bartender or your hero. So it's gonna jump on cards on the board, give +4/+4/+4/+4. If you get lucky, it just keeps on bouncing and you can have a massive board until it randomly hits your hero or bartender, and then it stops. I am scared. A lot of these are very strong. Like, a lot of these are insane tempo or economy, or they're just nuts. And Pyro buff, I can see some clips where it just keeps on bouncing and never stops, and you have a board of like 50/50 cards. You gotta get lucky for that, but this is so much RNG, man. You could also get screwed over and instantly hit like your hero and then you cry. Also, how does animation time work? Like, if it keeps casting Pyro buff and you have no time left to do your turn because the animations kept going, we'll have to see, but I think this is strong. Like, all of these options are kind of better versions of what other buddies do. It's random, you don't know what to expect, which is the only downside that I really see here. I'm gonna give it a 5. I think Yogg maybe is in a good spot after this. I think the wheel is actually incredibly strong, and I do think you will just see a lot of Yoggs because it's random. People like random and they like the RNG. 5 is maybe a bit ballsy, maybe it's more a 4, but I'm gonna stick to 5. I don't know if you can tell, it's getting dark here, so if the lighting changes, that's why. Ysera got a Valitria Dreamwalker, which is a tier 3 dragon. Dragons in Bob's Tavern have +3/+3. This just seems not that great. Don't really care about dragons in the tavern getting a buff. With Ysera, like I've mentioned before, you just want promo drakes and Taragosas and scale up your existing board. Scaling up your existing board doesn't mean buying dragons in the shop. Yeah, this is like some tempo again if you buy like some bronze swords, you're strong early on, but that's it. It doesn't scale. You have to keep this on the board to keep the effect as well. In itself, it's not that strong of a dragon. So I don't think this changes Ysera's playstyle. It will still play the same. So look for promo drakes and Taragosas. And this card doesn't necessarily help with that. I'm giving this buddy a 2. It's pretty like mediocre impact. Again, a lot of buddies give you a lot more stats than this does. But Ysera will still be in a good spot or in a decent spot just because, I mean, their hero power is pretty good. And then we have Zephyrs. I also got to reveal this one. They got Firaz, which is a tier 3 elemental. Battlecry, discover a plain copy of a minion that you have exactly 1 of. There's a lot of applications here. So basically you can triple anything on your board. If you have a card, just play this, discover a copy copy of it, then you hero power triple. So the fact that if you still have wishes left, you can triple anything seems really powerful. Now this generates you only one card. We've seen buddies generating every turn, but it gives you something that you want because you have it on the board. It can be specific, stacks with Bran. So I think this is really good just because you kind of know what to expect and it's just not just random. I mean, you might not discover what you want if you have a full board, but still. I'm giving it a 4. I think it is gonna push Zephyrs into a better direction because you can't just never triple. You have a guaranteed triple lined up, but it is not insanely snowbally like some others. We got so many new buddies. It's insane to just try and wrap your head around it. Don't forget, of course, to subscribe if you're new here or like the video if you enjoyed this. A lot of time went into it. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.